Welcome to another journey through literature. Today we're embarking on an essential exploration of William Shakespeare's timeless tragedy, Hamlet, Prince of Denmark.
Oh, absolutely. A huge one.
It really is. This is a play that has captivated audiences and scholars for centuries. I mean, a true cornerstone of Western literature.
Definitely. And, it consistently tops lists of the greatest plays ever written for a reason.
Exactly. The central question that sort of echoes throughout this magnificent work, and one we'll seek the answer in our conversation today, is this. How does one grapple with a world turned upside down,
Hmm.
where the most fundamental truths are obscured and, well, the path to justice is just fraught with moral and psychological peril?
It's such a powerful question.
It really is.
Yeah.
And it feels as urgent today as it must have 400 years ago, don't you think?
Absolutely. Hamlet isn't just a story about a prince, is it? It's a profound dissection of the human condition under duress.
Right.
It's like a masterclass in how individuals react when the very foundations of their world just crumble.
Yeah.
Shakespeare plunges us right into the mind of a protagonist facing this, well, almost unbearable burden. And he uses incredible skill, doesn't he, to pull back the curtain on these universal human experiences.
Like grief.
Grief, betrayal, definitely. The struggle for truth, the pursuit of justice. It's all in there.
Mhm.
So we'll trace Hamlet's journey, focusing on his internal conflicts, the character psychology, and the moral choices that really drive the plot.
And we'll look at those big themes too, right?
Oh, absolutely. All while exploring the pervasive themes of deception and hidden truth, that whole appearance versus reality thing,
Crucial.
and the philosophical struggle between fate and free will, plus the dynamic interplay of power, justice, and social order within the kingdom. It's quite a mix.
Okay, let's unpack this from the very beginning then, because Shakespeare, I mean, he wastes no time setting up this profound sense of instability.
He really doesn't. It hits you straight away.
The play opens in Denmark, and immediately you, the listener, are plunged into a court that's barely 2 months out of mourning.
Just 2 months.
King Hamlet, the beloved monarch, has died, suddenly, unexpectedly. But before even 2 full months have passed, his widow, Queen Gertrude, marries his brother, Claudius,
His brother.
who then swiftly ascends to the throne. I mean, it's a transition so jarringly fast, it just screams that something is fundamentally amiss, wouldn't you say?
It absolutely does. And what's fascinating here is how quickly the existing power, justice, and social order are disrupted. Almost violently so.
Yeah.
Claudius doesn't just, marry the queen and become king. He immediately starts consolidating his authority with this, ruthless efficiency.
Oh, so?
Well, we see him sending ambassadors Cornelius and Voltaman off to Norway.
Right, to deal with Fortinbras.
Exactly, to manage that external threat from young Fortinbras, who's ambitiously seeking to reclaim lands his father lost to old King Hamlet in a past battle.
So Claudius is acting decisively.
Oh, yeah. This political maneuvering highlights his cunning, his immediate grasp of power.
Yeah.
It shows him as a pragmatic, decisive ruler. But the speed of these events, the almost indecent haste of the marriage and coronation, it immediately signals to the audience that not all is right in the state of Denmark.
It feels wrong.
It's a clear violation of traditional mourning periods, of expectations of propriety. It's definitely meant to put us on edge.
And right in the middle of all this forced celebration and political maneuvering, we meet Prince Hamlet.
Yes, Hamlet himself.
He's presented as this incredibly isolated figure, still shrouded in black, deeply affected by his father's death, obviously, but maybe even more so by his mother's or hasty marriage to his uncle father.
That term alone, uncle father.
It's loaded, isn't it? His bitterness is palpable from his very first lines. He laments in an aside that's, a direct address to the audience, a whisper. Only we hear he says a little more than kin and less than kind.
It's a linguistic scalpel, that line.
Yeah.
Just brilliant.
Explain that a bit more.
Well, think about the double meaning he's packing into those few words. Claudius is certainly more than kin now, right? He's married his mother, making him a stepfather as well as an uncle.
Right, doubly related.
But less than kind.
Yeah.
That cuts deep. It implies Claudius is unnatural, twisted, far from the kind, or, the natural order of things.
Oh.
It immediately establishes Hamlet's profound moral judgment and his disgust for this new illegitimate arrangement.
So it's not just sadness.
No, this immediate dive into Hamlet's character, psychology, and moral conflict is crucial. His initial soliloquy isn't just about grief. It reveals a soul sick with despair, consumed by a sense of pervasive corruption.
How does he see the world?
He views it as weary, stale, flat, and unprofitable. He even contemplates suicide. This isn't just sadness, it's an existential crisis, a deep, pervasive, melancholic disillusionment.
So he's completely separate from the court's mood.
Totally distinct from the forced cheer of the court, he's already questioning the very fabric of reality around him, finding it not nor it cannot come to good. His inner turmoil is set from the outset, highlighting how deeply he feels the corruption of the world around him, a corruption he sees, emanating directly from his mother's hasty marriage.
It's almost like he can sense the rot before anyone else can even articulate it. This profound sense of internal decay sort of reflected in the kingdom.
Exactly. He's tuned in to something deeply wrong.
And then Shakespeare introduces another unsettling element, one that just rips through the very fabric of reality. The ghostly apparition on the battlements.
Ah, the ghost, yes.
It's a moment that immediately asks us, the audience, what's real and what's merely fantasy.
It's a huge question right at the start.
So on the castle battlements, the guards and Hamlet's trusted friend Horatio, who's a scholar, remember, and initially skeptical.
Right, Horatio's the rational one.
They witness a ghostly figure that looks exactly like the late King Hamlet. Horatio initially dismisses it as but our fantasy, yet he's compelled to believe it without the sensible and true avouch of mine own eyes.
That line's great. Even the scholar has to admit what he sees. And this supernatural encounter, it immediately challenges everyone's perception of appearance versus reality.
Is it real? Is it imagined?
This ghost real, a true spirit returned from the grave, or, a figment of their troubled imaginations? Especially for an Elizabethan audience, this would have been incredibly potent.
How so?
Well, it touches upon contemporary anxieties about purgatory, hell, the nature of spirits, all very real concerns back then. And the fact that the ghost refuses to speak to anyone but Hamlet builds immense anticipation, doesn't it? It suggests a unique, perhaps foreboding destiny for the young prince.
And they mention Fortinbras again too, don't they?
They do. Moreover, the soldiers also mention young Fortinbras's aggressive posture, aiming to recover those foresaid lands.
So it connects the ghost to the politics.
Exactly. It directly links the supernatural omen to the existing political anxieties and concerns about power, justice, and social order. It's not happening in a vacuum.
Which leads to that famous line.
Horatio's iconic conclusion: something is rotten in the state of Denmark. It isn't just a line, it's a thematic declaration. It encapsulates the pervasive sense of decay and corruption in the kingdom.
It really sets the stage.
It's a moment where the external world perfectly mirrors Hamlet's internal despair, setting the stage for the true crisis to unfold.
And this leads us directly to the call to revenge, right? The moment where the burden of truth really falls squarely on Hamlet's shoulders.
This is the inciting incident, absolutely.
When Hamlet finally confronts that apparition, it confirms Horatio's fears. The ghost identifies itself as the spirit of his father, doomed for a certain term to walk the night.
Chilling.
And then comes the shocking revelation that just shatters any remaining facade of peace and justice. It's not just murder.
No, it's far worse, precisely. The ghost reveals he wasn't killed by a snakebite, as the public believes a convenient story circulated by the new regime.
Right, the official story.
No, it was murder most foul, strange, and unnatural. He was poisoned in his sleep by Claudius.
By his own brother.
By his brother. This completely shatters the appearance versus reality of the Danish court. The seemingly smooth succession, the new king's supposedly legitimate rule, the public image of peace, all of it exposed as a horrifying lie built upon fratricide.
And it doesn't stop there, does it? The ghost talks about Gertrude, too.
It gets even more complicated. The ghost reveals that Claudius seduced Gertrude, winning her to his shameful lust despite her seeming virtuous nature. This accusation blurs the lines of marital loyalty and moral integrity, staining the entire royal house. The truth is far more hideous than anyone imagined.
It must just destroy Hamlet's worldview.
It plunges him into a crisis of belief in the entire court system and challenges the very foundation of power, justice, and social order.
And with that truth comes a very specific, and I'd say deeply complicated command for Hamlet.
Yes, the core instruction.
The ghost demands Hamlet revenge his foul and most unnatural murder. But critically, it adds a significant caveat. taint not thy mind, nor let thy soul contrive against thy mother aught.
That caveat is everything.
This is where Hamlet's profound personal struggle truly begins, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because his duty is now intertwined with this moral constraint that makes immediate action incredibly difficult.
It's an immediate and incredibly complex character psychology and moral conflict for Hamlet. A true double bind.
Oh, so
Well, his fundamental duty to avenge his father, a clear call for justice, is now entangled with a command not to harm his mother.
the mother whose rapid remarriage fuels so much of his initial despair and disgust.
Exactly. How do you seek justice for a father without condemning the mother you still perhaps love, but who is undeniably complicit, at least in his eyes, in this new corrupt order?
It's an impossible situation.
This tension between direct action and profound moral constraint will fundamentally define his entire journey. It leads to his perceived inaction, his internal torment, his philosophical delay.
And it brings up that fate versus free will question, too.
Oh, definitely. Is he doomed to fulfill this bloody prophecy, this command from beyond the grave? Or does he have the agency, the free will, to navigate it in a way that preserves his own moral compass? It's a central tension.
You can almost feel the overwhelming weight of that dilemma just descend upon him in that moment.
It's crushing.
Overwhelmed by this revelation, Hamlet swears to remember the ghost's words, to erase everything else from his mind. And then, in a pivotal moment, he makes Horatio and Marcellus swear on his sword not to reveal what they've seen.
A secret pact.
And he declares he may, perchance hereafter shall think meet to put an antic disposition on. This decision to feign madness, it's absolutely critical to his strategy, isn't it? It's not just a whim.
No, it's far from a whim. This introduces Hamlet's chosen strategy, a deliberate manipulation of appearance versus reality.
The antic disposition.
This antic disposition, a term for strange or grotesque behavior, or in this case, feigned madness. It's a mask. It's intended to confuse his enemies, to throw Claudius off balance.
Buy him some time.
And, crucially, to give Hamlet space to act and investigate without revealing his true intentions. It's a brilliant, if psychologically taxing, tactic.
And he believes the truth will come out eventually.
Yes, his conviction that foul deeds will rise, though all the earth o'erwhelm them, to men's eyes, underscores his belief that hidden truths will inevitably be exposed.
Even if he has to force the issue.
Even if he has to create the conditions for that exposure himself.
Yeah.
He's essentially transforming himself into an enigma, a walking question mark, to uncover the truth about a king who presents this flawless public face.
As if the kingdom isn't already a tangled mess of secrets and lies, we then see a whole web of deception start to tighten. Traps and counter-traps being laid by almost everyone.
It really escalates from here.
First, we have Polonius, Lord Chamberlain, a man who prides himself on his cunning.
Oh, Polonius, yes.
Driven by his own brand of, well, convoluted logic and a desire to appear astute, he sends his servant Reynaldo to spy on his son Laertes in Paris.
Spying on his own son.
And he explicitly tells him to use indirections find directions out, which is just a fancy way of saying lie to get the truth, right?
Pretty much. This scene immediately establishes Polonius's inherent manipulative nature and his reliance on deception to uncover information, even within his own family.
It's classic appearance versus reality.
Absolutely. Polonius believes he can find truth through lies and indirect methods. He's so wrapped up in his own cleverness, he becomes a master of misdirection, unfortunately, often in the wrong direction.
And he immediately jumps to the wrong conclusion about Hamlet, doesn't he?
Almost immediately. When Ophelia describes Hamlet's strange, disheveled visit, part of his new antic disposition, Polonius, ever the self-proclaimed expert on, well, everything,
Yes.
concludes it's a result of lovesickness, caused by Ophelia's obedience to his command to reject Hamlet's advances.
He thinks Hamlet's just heartbroken.
Exactly. This crucial blunder by Polonius not only highlights his faulty judgment and, frankly, superficial understanding of human emotion, but it also sets the stage for even greater misjudgments and tragic outcomes. He completely misunderstands the true nature of Hamlet's turmoil and Claudius's guilt.
And it's not just Polonius playing detective, is it? Claudius himself starts to get increasingly suspicious of Hamlet's bizarre behavior.
Claudius is no fool. He senses something's off.
The king and queen, deeply concerned by Hamlet's erratic nature, particularly after his biting remarks and that ongoing melancholic demeanor, they summon Rosencrantz and Guildenstern.
Hamlet's childhood friends. Or so they seem.
Right. And they instruct them to spy on him, to gather so much as from occasion you may glean whether aught to us unknown afflicts him thus.
It's a classic case of using presumed friendship as a tool for surveillance.
So Claudius is already worried.
This immediately highlights Claudius's immediate distrust and his reliance on surveillance and manipulation to maintain his grip on power, justice, and the social order he's so recently usurped.
He's not confrontational then.
Not directly, not yet. He prefers working behind the scenes. However, Hamlet, even under the guise of madness, quickly sees through their superficial attempts at friendship.
He knows they're spies.
He discerns that they were sent for. This shows Hamlet's keen psychological insight, even as he performs his antic disposition.
So it's another layer of appearance versus reality.
Exactly. Perceived friendship hides underlying treachery, and Hamlet, despite his feigned madness, is fully aware of the deception. He plays along, but he sees the strings attached to his friends.
Then we get to the deeply unsettling nunnery confrontation.
Yeah.
One of the play's most debated and frankly upsetting scenes.
Oh, definitely.
It's brutal. Hamlet confronts Ophelia with incredibly harsh words, telling her to get thee to a nunnery, claiming he loved you not, accusing all men, including himself, of being errant knaves.
It's incredibly complex.
Because his motivations are so layered, so ambiguous. Is he truly mad by this point? Or is this still part of the act? And what effect does this have on poor Ophelia?
This scene is a profound moment of character psychology and moral conflict for Hamlet, and it has devastating psychological consequences for Ophelia. The ambiguity is absolutely central to its power.
So what are the possibilities?
Well, is Hamlet merely maintaining his antic disposition to push her away and mislead Polonius and Claudius, who, remember, are secretly observing the entire exchange?
Quite, they're hiding.
Or is it a genuine expression of his despair and cynicism about women, fueled by his mother's actions and his generalized disgust for a world he sees as entirely corrupt?
Or maybe trying to protect her.
Perhaps. Perhaps it's a desperate, twisted attempt to protect Ophelia from the moral decay of the court, urging her to a convent, a nunnery, for purity and safety. It's hard to know for sure.
But the impact on Ophelia is clear.
Undeniable. Ophelia's lament, seeing the noble mind o'erthrown and the shattering of that unmatched form and stature of blown youth blasted with ecstasy, underscores the sheer devastation this encounter inflicts upon her. Her perception of Hamlet as this once noble, now shattered figure is just heartbreaking.
And what does Claudius make of it?
Claudius, observing the exchange, correctly concludes that Hamlet's madness is not from love. He realizes it's something deeper, something settled matter in his heart, something dangerous.
So he decides to act.
Immediately, he resolves to send Hamlet to England for neglected tribute, a thinly veiled excuse for a deadly plot. It's a direct attempt to use his power to eliminate a threat.
Wow.
This whole sequence is a masterclass in how appearance versus reality can be twisted, affecting not just the deceiver, but also the innocent victims caught on the web.
Okay, so things are getting tense, but here's where it gets really interesting. Because the arrival of a troupe of traveling players provides Hamlet with a new, unexpected avenue for action.
Yes, the players. A brilliant stroke of, well, perhaps free will.
He uses them to try and uncover the truth. He welcomes them enthusiastically, then in a moment that's almost meta,
Art reflecting life, yeah.
he gives them detailed instructions on the art of acting, advising them to hold, as 'twere, the mirror up to nature, to show virtue her own feature, scorn her own image, and the very age and body of the time, his form and pressure.
It's quite a speech on acting theory.
And ironic, given his own performance.
Deeply ironic, given Hamlet's own feigned madness, his own constant performance. But it also points directly to that core theme of appearance versus reality.
How so?
Hamlet sees theater not just as entertainment, but as a powerful means to expose hidden truth. He believes that art, by faithfully reflecting life's realities, can pierce through deception and force an internal reckoning.
So he's setting a trap.
He is, in essence, setting up a psychological trap where the stage mirrors the secret, murderous reality of the court, hoping to catch Claudius's conscience. It's a moment where the play itself reflects on the power of theater to reveal inconvenient truths.
And after that, alone, Hamlet delivers what is arguably his most famous soliloquy. You know, the speech where a character reveals their innermost thoughts directly to us.
The "oh, what a rogue and peasant slave am I" soliloquy. Yes.
In this one, he just chastises himself. He calls himself a dull and muddy-mettled rascal for his inaction,
He really beats himself up.
contrasting his own frustrating delay with the player's passionate, emotional performance for Hecuba, a fictional character.
Right, the actor can weep for fiction, but Hamlet feels he can't act for his real murdered father.
He despises himself for merely unpacking my heart with words instead of taking concrete action for a dear father murdered.
This is a profound deep dive into his character psychology and moral conflict. It reveals his profound frustration and self-loathing over his perceived cowardice and inability to act.
He's stuck in his own head.
He's tormented by his own Hamletness, his philosophical bent, his tendency to think rather than execute. This isn't just self-pity, it's a genuine struggle with his own nature, a conflict between his intellectualism and the brutal demands of revenge.
But does it lead anywhere?
Yes. Crucially, this self-condemnation also fuels a shift. He then resolves his course, outlining a concrete, if circuitous plan.
The play's the thing.
I'll have these players play something like the murder of my father before my uncle. I'll observe his looks. The play's the thing, wherein I'll catch the conscience of the king.
So he moves from thinking to planning.
Exactly. This demonstrates a pivotal move from philosophical contemplation and paralysis to a decisive, actionable strategy, using the staged performance as a test, hoping to reveal the hidden truth and confirm his suspicions beyond a shadow of a doubt.
It's him exercising his free will.
Absolutely pushing back against the inertia of his despair.
And the mousetrap truly springs. The play within a play, which Hamlet renames the mousetrap.
Clever name.
It explicitly reenacts the poisoning of a king in his garden. As the player king is poisoned by his nephew, who then seduces the queen, an almost identical recreation of Claudius's crime.
It's incredibly direct.
Claudius's composure just shatters. He cries out, "Give me some light, away!" and rushes from the room. It's a moment of absolute, undeniable proof, isn't it?
It's the moment of undeniable truth. This dramatic reaction serves as irrefutable proof of his guilt, confirming every word of the ghost's story and validating Hamlet's suspicions.
So the mask finally slips.
The appearance versus reality of Claudius's regal composure is utterly broken in that moment, revealing the murderous truth beneath his facade. This public breakdown isn't just personal, it's a public unraveling of his illegitimate rule.
A blow to his power and authority.
And a devastating blow to his attempts to maintain power, justice, and social order. His conscience, caught in the trap Hamlet laid, betrays him completely.
So now Hamlet knows for sure.
Hamlet now feels free to act, armed with the concrete evidence he needed. This is a crucial turning point, where Hamlet's free will, guided by the ghost's revelation and his own ingenuity, sets a chain of events in motion that he hopes will lead to his father's justice.
But this freedom to act, this moment of certainty, it also leads to a series of fatal errors and an escalating web of consequences, doesn't it?
Things unravel quickly now, very quickly.
Immediately following the play, fueled by this mixture of rage, conviction, and perhaps a touch of his feigned madness slipping into reality.
It's hard to tell where the act ends and reality begins sometimes.
Hamlet confronts his mother in her private chamber, hidden behind an arras that's a wall hanging or tapestry. Claudius is eavesdropping.
Ever the busybody, Polonius, always listening where he shouldn't be.
When Polonius cries out, Hamlet, thinking it is Claudius,
A fatal mistake.
impulsively thrusts his rapier through the curtain, killing Polonius. It's a gut-wrenching, impulsive act.
It really is. This impulsive act is a major turning point. A tragic error driven by Hamlet's pent-up rage and his desire for immediate revenge, mixed with that crucial misidentification.
A key moment for his character.
Definitely. It's a key moment of character psychology and moral conflict, where Hamlet's rashness, his sudden unthinking violence, leads to an unintended yet devastating consequence.
Fate or free will again?
The line between fate and free will is profoundly blurred here. Was Polonius's death an unfortunate accident, a result of Hamlet's emotional state? Or was it somehow an fated outcome of Hamlet's chosen path of violent revenge, where the innocent inevitably gets swept up?
It certainly changes things.
It absolutely sets a darker, more uncontrollable sequence of events in motion, demonstrating how unchecked passion can lead to tragic ends.
He then bitterly confronts Gertrude, accusing her of a bloody deed, as kill a king and marry with his brother. He forces her to look at portraits of his noble father and the mildewed ear that is Claudius,
Trying to force her to see the truth.
highlighting her moral failings, trying to make her see the truth that she seems so blind to. It's during this intense accusation that the ghost appears again,
Yes, the ghost's second appearance to Hamlet.
but only Hamlet sees it this time.
Right. The ghost, in this appearance, urges Hamlet to whet thy almost blunted purpose, basically. Get on with avenging me against Claudius, and step between her and her fighting soul, reminding him of the earlier instruction not to harm her.
But Gertrude sees nothing.
Gertrude sees nothing, which prompts her to believe Hamlet is truly mad, suffering from ecstasy or hallucinations.
So it raises questions about the ghost again.
It reintroduces the ambiguity of appearance versus reality regarding the ghost itself. Is it a real spirit, a vision from purgatory, or a manifestation of Hamlet's fractured psyche?
What does Hamlet say?
Hamlet adamantly denies his madness. He asserts, "My pulse as yours doth temperately keep time. It is not madness that I have uttered."
He's desperately trying to force Gertrude to confront her moral truth, to confess her complicity.
It just isolates him more.
It really does. This scene intensifies Hamlet's character psychology as he grapples with the weight of his mission and his mother's seeming inability to perceive the truth, further isolating him in his terrible knowledge.
With Polonius dead and Hamlet's madness proven dangerously violent, Claudius, the ultimate pragmatist, takes decisive action.
He has his excuse now.
He dispatches Hamlet to England immediately, accompanied by Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, who unknowingly carry sealed letters ordering Hamlet's execution.
A cold, calculated move. This is just ruthless.
It absolutely is. This demonstrates Claudius's ruthless exercise of power, justice, and social order, or his version of it, to remove a perceived threat to his throne. He's a pragmatic and brutal ruler, willing to commit regicide and then arrange for the murder of his nephew to secure his position.
But Hamlet suspects something, right?
Oh, Hamlet, ever cunning, is not so easily fooled. He anticipates treachery. He later reveals he discovered the letters
And swapped them.
and cleverly swapped them for new ones, commanding the deaths of Rosencrantz and Guildenstern instead.
Wow. Hoist with his own petard.
Exactly. He famously declares, "'Tis the sport to have the engineer hoist with his own petard." That's a fantastic image. A petard was an explosive device, so it means being blown up by your own bomb. A taste of your own medicine.
So Hamlet's playing the game too now.
It highlights Hamlet's own cunning and his perhaps growing comfort in the dangerous game of appearance versus reality that defines the court. It also adds another layer to fate versus free will. While Claudius schemes, Hamlet uses his own free will to subvert Claudius's designs, but in doing so, he inadvertently seals his friend's tragic fate. It's complex.
The fallout from all this political and personal chaos is truly devastating, and it often falls hardest on the innocent, like Ophelia.
Poor Ophelia, yes.
Polonius' death, coupled with Hamlet's earlier cruelty in the nunnery scene and his subsequent departure, it just breaks her.
It sends Ophelia into a profound state of madness. Her fragmented songs and symbolic distribution of flowers, rosemary for remembrance, pansies for thoughts, are such poignant expressions of her shattered psyche.
It's heartbreaking to watch.
This is an incredibly tragic arc for Ophelia, showcasing the severe psychological consequences of the moral conflicts and deceptions swirling around her. She's caught in this vortex of grief, betrayal, and madness.
A victim of the court.
A victim of the male-dominated, corrupt world of the court. The queen describes her mermaid-like drowning, a seemingly accidental death. Well, it raises important questions about fate versus free will. Was it an accident? Was it suicide? Or was it an inevitable outcome of her unbearable grief and the chaos that consumed her world, leaving her with no agency, no way out?
Her death is a stark reminder.
A stark reminder of the innocent victims caught in the play's escalating conflicts, demonstrating how the corruption of power can destroy even those on the periphery, those who never sought to be part of the game.
And as if Ophelia's death isn't enough tragedy, Laertes returns from France.
Ah, Laertes, the foil to Hamlet in many ways.
He's enraged by his father's obscure funeral, a hasty private burial that denied Polonius the respect due to his station and, of course, his sister's madness and death.
He wants revenge now.
And unlike Hamlet's contemplative revenge, Laertes is direct, impulsive, absolute. He cries out, "To hell allegiance, vows to the blackest devil, conscience and grace to the profoundest pit. I dare damnation. Let come what comes, only I'll be revenged most threely for my father."
Wow, no hesitation there.
None at all.
This stark contrast in character psychology and moral conflict between Hamlet and Laertes is crucial. Laertes embodies a different path to revenge, immediate, unthinking, driven purely by passion and a sense of violated honor.
The opposite of Hamlet's delay.
His single-minded pursuit of vengeance stands in stark opposition to Hamlet's philosophical delay and internal struggles. And Claudius sees an opportunity here.
Of course he does.
Yeah.
Claudius, ever the manipulator.
Quickly channels Laertes' rage, He justifies his own inaction against Hamlet by citing Gertrude's love for her son, and interestingly, the public's adoration of Hamlet, which would make any direct action politically dangerous.
Smart politics, I guess.
Devious politics. He then proposes a cunning, dishonorable plan, a fencing match.
But not a fair one.
Not at all. Laertes will use a poisoned, undated rapier, an unblunted, sharpened blade, not the dulled practice sword with a poisoned drink as a backup.
Just in case.
Just in case. This conspiracy is the ultimate abuse of power, justice, and social order, turning an honorable contest into a deceitful murder plot.
Appearance versus reality again.
It's a complete perversion of appearance versus reality, setting the stage for the play's bloody climax. Here, Claudius actively manipulates Laertes' free will, channeling his grief and anger for his own nefarious purposes.
And so all these threads converge in the inevitable end. A true undoing of the kingdom, a horrifying bloody climax.
The final act. Everything comes crashing down.
Hamlet, having returned to Denmark, we find out later how he escaped the England plot, encounters a grave digger unearthing skulls.
The famous graveyard scene.
His philosophical contemplation on mortality, symbolized by him holding Yorick's skull. Alas, poor Yorick, I knew him, Horatio. It reveals a new acceptance of death, doesn't it? A sense of peace, almost.
It seems so. This scene marks a profound shift in Hamlet's character psychology. He appears to have moved beyond his earlier despair and existential torment.
How so?
He contemplates death with a newfound, almost detached philosophical resignation. There's a maturity here, a quiet understanding of the great equalizer. He reflects on the fleeting nature of life and earthly ambition. Imperious Caesar, dead and turned to clay, might stop a hole to keep the wind away.
But this quiet moment is interrupted.
Abruptly interrupted by Ophelia's funeral procession with its maimed rites, incomplete burial rites indicating her doubtful death, hinting at possible suicide, adding to the layers of ambiguous reality.
And Hamlet's reaction.
Hamlet, revealing the true depth of his love, perhaps a love suppressed by his mission and madness, leaps into the grave to confront Laertes.
Declaring his love for Ophelia.
Declaring, I loved Ophelia. 40,000 brothers could not with all their quantity of love make up my sum. This raw display of grief and passion immediately escalates the personal conflict between the two men.
Tying their fates together.
Tying their individual fates to the larger unraveling of the kingdom. It's a clash of different forms of love and rage right there in Ophelia's grave.
The final fencing match is where the entire web of deceit completely unravels.
The climax of all the plotting.
Hamlet accepts the match, seemingly unaware of the full extent of Claudius's and Laertes' treachery. Before it begins, in a gesture that speaks to his newfound philosophical calm, perhaps, he offers Laertes a heartfelt apology.
What does he say?
He attributes his past actions to a sore distraction, claiming it was madness and not himself.
An attempt at reconciliation.
It seems so. Laertes accepts in nature in his heart, but maintains his terms of honor require satisfaction. He's still intending his treachery.
So he accepts the apology, but not really.
Exactly. While Claudius has the poison cup ready, a backup plan for murder, just in case the poison rapier fails.
This moment just perfectly encapsulates that ongoing theme of appearance versus reality.
How?
Hamlet offers what seems like a genuine apology, perhaps a true expression of his changed psychological state, his move past the initial fury. Meanwhile, Laertes maintains his deadly deception, feigning acceptance even as he intends to murder Hamlet.
Honor used as a mask.
It's a contest where honor is merely a facade for a premeditated murder, orchestrated by Claudius, who is at the heart of this final, treacherous plot, abusing his power and position.
Setting the stage for tragedy.
This entire setup highlights the deliberate manipulation of social order and justice for a personal, vengeful end. The final tragic resolution is set into motion, driven by a combination of fate, the ghost's prophecy, and the character's fatal choices.
And then the cascade of deaths begins, swift and brutal, a bloody dance of consequences.
That happens so fast.
Queen Gertrude unknowingly drinks from the poison cup Claudius intended for Hamlet. She dies, crying out, "The drinks, the drink! Oh, my dear Hamlet, the drink, the drink, I am poisoned."
Tragic irony. She drinks the poison meant for her son, prepared by her husband.
Laertes wounds Hamlet with a poisoned rapier.
The plot succeeds, partially.
But in a scuffle, the rapiers are exchanged, and Hamlet wounds Laertes with the very same poisoned blade.
A poetic twist of fate indeed. Hoist with his own petard again.
It's a devastating, rapid succession of deaths, a complete unraveling of the royal family.
Laertes, struck by his own treachery, experiences a moment of clarity before his death.
And he confesses.
He confesses the entire plot, revealing, I am justly killed with mine own treachery. The king's to blame.
The final confirmation for Hamlet.
With this final, undeniable confirmation, Hamlet, spurred by rage and the urgency of the moment, forces Claudius to drink the poisoned wine and stabs him with the envenomed rapier.
Revenge at last.
At last fulfilling his revenge, his father's justice delivered. Laertes, in his dying breath, exchanges forgiveness with Hamlet.
A moment of grace.
A final act of grace that frees them both, perhaps, from the burden of their actions. Finally, Hamlet himself succumbs to the poison.
His last words.
His last request to Horatio is, "Report me and my cause aright to the unsatisfied," asking his loyal friend to clear his name and tell his true story.
So the truth can finally come out.
The rapid succession of these deaths, driven by human ambition, deception, and this spiraling cycle of betrayal and retribution, exemplifies how purposes mistook fallen on the inventors' heads,
Everything backfires.
leading to the total collapse of the existing power, justice, and social order. The tragic ending underscores the complex interplay of fate versus free will, as the carefully laid plans of revenge and counter-revenge lead to an inevitable bloody conclusion, wiping out almost the entire royal line.
So after this absolute devastation, this stage just littered with bodies, what's left?
Well, a new order arrives, in the form of Fortinbras of Norway,
Right, he arrives with his army.
accompanied by English ambassadors who report the execution of Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, a direct consequence of Hamlet's clever letter switch we talked about.
So that loose end is tied up.
And Fortinbras, seeing the vacuum of power, swiftly asserts his rights of memory in this kingdom.
He takes over.
This signifies the establishment of a new power, justice, and social order, albeit one born out of immense tragedy and the self-destruction of the old regime.
A pragmatic ending.
It's a pragmatic resolution, yeah, where the cycle of internal corruption clears the way for an external force to take control. Fortinbras brings a sense of decisive leadership and order that was sorely lacking. He is, in a way, the antidote to the rotten state of Denmark.
And as for Horatio, he's the sole survivor who knows the whole truth.
Yes, Horatio, the loyal friend. He promises to recount the entire story, detailing the carnal, bloody, and unnatural acts of accidental judgments, casual slaughters, of deaths put on by cunning and forced cause.
He's the keeper of Hamlet's story.
His enduring duty is to ensure that the true appearance versus reality of events is revealed to the world. He becomes the keeper of Hamlet's legacy, tasked with clearing his name and accurately presenting the complex chain of events.
So history isn't written by rumor.
Exactly. It's a crucial role, providing a narrative counterpoint to the deceptions and misinterpretations that plagued the kingdom. He provides a final moment of truth in a play so defined by lies.
And finally, a measure of respect is granted to Hamlet in death, isn't it? By Fortinbras.
Yes. Fortinbras, acknowledging Hamlet's noble lineage and potential, orders that he be carried out like a soldier, recognizing that he was likely, had he been put on, to have proved most royal.
What might have been.
This final tribute offers a somber honor to a man whose potential was tragically unfulfilled by the circumstances he found himself in. It's a recognition of the princely qualities buried beneath his melancholy and the antic disposition,
Acknowledging the Hamlet that could have been a great king.
but who was instead consumed by the terrible demands of revenge and justice.
So in summary, then, Hamlet is just this profound exploration of vengeance, power, the human psyche.
All of it. We witness Hamlet's agonizing internal conflict, that duty to avenge his father versus his own philosophical nature,
A struggle that leaves him paralyzed by thought.
yet ultimately capable of incredibly rash, violent action.
And the play constantly challenges our perception of appearance versus reality.
All the way through, characters like Claudius and Hamlet himself employ deception and disguise, forcing us to question what's genuine and what's feigned, and how those masks impact everyone around them.
And that question of fate versus free will just permeates Hamlet's journey.
From the ghost's commanding prophecy to Hamlet's contemplation of suicide, right through to the ultimate violent climax where choices, both deliberate and accidental, lead to universal destruction.
It's really a critique of power gone wrong.
Ultimately, yes, Hamlet is a scathing critique of power, justice, and social order when they're corrupted by ambition and lust. It shows how a single rotten element can unravel an entire kingdom.
Culminating in that scene of absolute devastation where the old order completely collapses.
It's a world where the search for truth is fraught with peril, and where the human mind grapples with monumental moral choices.
The core conflict then, both internal and external, really centers on Hamlet's struggle. reconciling the demands of bloody revenge with his own moral compass.
And that overwhelming sense of despair brought on by his mother's actions and the perceived corruption of the world.
At the play's end, the stage is literally littered with bodies. King Claudius, Queen Gertrude, Laertes, and Hamlet himself, all victims.
All victims of a spiraling cycle of betrayal and retribution. Only Horatio remains to tell the tale, and Fortinbras from Norway stands poised to establish a new, albeit somber, order in Denmark.
This play really leaves you with a lot to chew on, doesn't it?
It truly does. We've only just scratched the surface of this magnificent tragedy today, offering you a comprehensive overview of its plot and these fascinating themes that continue to resonate.
It's a play that invites endless interpretation.
And rereading. We encourage you to delve deeper into the layers of this play yourself. Maybe even pick up a copy to read along with us as we continue.
And that's precisely what we'll do in our upcoming series. We'll peel back the layers of Hamlet even further, dedicating an entire deep dive to each act.
Delving into the nuances of language, character development, the profound philosophical questions Shakespeare raises.
We'll explore the famous soliloquies, dissect key scenes, analyze how each character's journey contributes to the play's enduring power.
It's going to be a fantastic journey.
It really is, and we can't wait to share it with you. Thank you for joining us on this literary journey. Hit subscribe and share to become part of our AI-human collaboration where every listener helps shape the future episodes.